Hello and welcome back to Dumbslate, a podcast about movies. My name is Felix and I'm your host. We only have 4 minutes and 20 seconds, so let's get started. Today we are covering one of my favorite films of the year, Strange Darling, written and directed by J.T. Mollner. The film is starring Willa Fitzgerald as the lady and Kyle Goner as the demon. It also has Barbara Hershey and Ed Begley as an old married couple that the lady runs into for help. Strange Darling opens with the context that the film is following the U.S.'s most notorious and successful serial killer on their final rampage, and it's told in a story broken into 6 chapters shown in a non-sequential order, followed by an epilogue. It takes place over a single night/morning, following the demon and the lady after a one-night stand turns into a game of cat and mouse. This was my favorite film of the year after walking out of the theater. I had high expectations, but it was even better than that. If I was to give this film one word, I would just say efficient. By breaking down the film into these 6 parts told in a non-sequential order, JT takes total control in giving us a story in a really efficient way with the perfect pacing. It's almost like a symphony with an intriguing start, different tones and volumes perfectly throughout, followed by a crescendo and into a perfect ending. I appreciate this film even more after rewatching it because he gets the cat and mouse chasing out of the way and started from the get-go, which one gets the audience intrigued, but also gets the part with the least amount of dialogue out of the way and gives the story from that point on more meaning. And you can enjoy the storyline being built now with the action and violence just being more impactful. Now I want to bring up also how aesthetic and pleasant the cinematography was. It was filmed on 35mm film, which was mentioned at the start. Theaters did present it digitally, but it still had that different feel and depth on the screen. Credit goes to Giovanni Ribisi, who's the cinematographer. He's in the movie Ted, Lost in Translation, Gone in 60 Seconds. It's his first feature film as a cinematographer, and I can't wait to see all of his future stuff because it was an absolutely beautiful film. Watching it on a streaming platform doesn't give it justice as it did in theaters. So when you do watch this film, watch it at night in a very dark room to get the best experience. It's one of the films that matches honestly exactly what I'm looking for in a film. You could say it's almost Tarantino-esque, which I do want to mention how proud I am for taking 6 episodes to mention Tarantino this season of the podcast. But the film being told in parts with the mixed timelines, lady loses an ear, the overall stylish violence, and it's even produced by Miramax, for fuck's sake. But it still felt original in my opinion. I think both performances from Fitzgerald and Goner are honestly great. The film kept you on the edge of your seat the whole time. And while I only talked about the lady and the demon, all the other characters and actors throughout the film were very entertaining, but very much caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. I think J.T. Mollner is awesome for making this piece of work, and I'm really excited to watch his future films. On to the important things. My rating, 5 stars. Perfect film for me. Average rating in Letterboxd, 3.5. It's at least a must-watch overall, which I can't complain about. My favorite Letterboxd review comes from Patrick, which says, quietly has the best cooking scene of the year, which segues into, is this film stoner-friendly? Absolutely. Ed Begley and Barbara Hershey make the most ridiculous breakfast I've ever seen in a movie of all time. It is a 5-star film. I'll always watch it high. Would you watch with your parents? No, don't. They're going to talk during it or ruin the vibe and get lost throughout the sequence of events. But I definitely would suggest it to them knowing they will never watch it. Thank you so much for listening. Join us next Monday at 4:20 where we're going to cover Challengers by Luca Guadagnino. Thanks so much for listening and cut. We're literally smoking and talking about movies.